One of the things that will make it very easy for people to understand, people unfortunately just don't read their Bibles, and we've been all subject to lying pastors, lying shepherds, and stuff like that have told us a lot of fibs. So right now, people don't understand what they. It seems like most people are familiar with the terms bride and bridegroom, but they don't quite know who the bride is. They've been tricked in that regard. The bridegroom, of course, is Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. His name is Yahushua in the Paleo Hebrew. And this entire book, this entire love letter that he's given us is about his relationship with Israel. So the bride is actually Israel, and it's in there over and over and over and over again. That's his focus the entire time. So we need to get that correct in our minds. So the thing that's going to help us understand this whole Bible better, for one thing, reading it will help out, but also understanding that this is about a marriage covenant. It's about a marriage relationship between Yahushua, that's the other bridegroom, and the bride, which is Israel, or the wife. So if we understand things from that relational dynamic, it'll clarify much of what is going on. We're not dealing with anyone outside of the marriage, as a person in a marriage. So in other words, there's a bride and there's a bridegroom. So anyone that's married on here, there are other people, of course, that exist outside of your marriage, but your marriage is what matters. You're not trying to assert yourself in someone else's marriage. You're not trying to let anyone else assert themselves in your marriage. And if they do, you're going to get quite protective over it. And so we're going to examine some of that, because a lot of that is in this word. We're going to start in Matthew 19:6. And we talked about this a little bit. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
God. Yes. All right, so we talked about this a little bit later on. And again, understanding that this is a marriage relationship. Let's get Matthew 19:6 real quick.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
So, of course, most of us know that this is obviously it's talking about marriage, but it's not just talking about the marriage between humans. It's actually talking about the marriage between Yahushua and Israel as well. So, in other words, it's nothing that a man, woman, or child, religion, nation is going to do to disannul the marriage between Yahushua and Israel. No one can put it asunder. Can put it asunder. It's etched in stone, and we know that he does not change. That seems to be lost upon people when they want to, create their own little rationalization and their own doctrine. But the word says what the word says. So again, this is about a marriage, and Yahushua is fiercely defensive over his marriage. He goes through a lot of different emotions. We get our emotions from him, and he explores them richly, all throughout, especially the Old Testament. But the word is consistent throughout the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 28:68 real quick, because one part on there is pretty relevant. The end of that is pretty relevant. Deuteronomy 28:68. We did discuss these things last time, but we're just going to, kind of go back to these real quick. So let's get Deuteronomy 28:68 real quick.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
God, so what we know is that what we understand at this point is that this applies to, well, obviously he's talking about Israel. This is a curse that will come upon Israel for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. So in other words, breaking the marriage covenant, which Yahushua didn't break, and Israel broke. Israel, which is the wife, went whoring around with these other nations and broke that marriage covenant. So for doing that, the penalty would be this slavery situation. And that's what happened. So we know that the so-called, blacks have been dispersed all over the world. It's actually happened multiple times. One of the last noted times is the transatlantic slave trade, because that's one time when it was very noted that it was done by ship. So when it says bring thee into Egypt, Egypt is bondage. Egypt means bondage in Hebrew. So we refer to that place which was called Mizraim as Egypt because we were in bondage there. So when he says he's going to bring us back into Egypt, that means he's going to bring us back into bondage. And he speaks about it right here. We're going to be sold into our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen or slaves. So we're going to be sold, but yet it says no man shall buy you, which some people may not understand that. So real quick, just as a review, when it says no man shall buy you, that means no man shall redeem you or redeem you out of slavery. No one's going to redeem you or save you out of captivity. And that redemption is actually part of the law, statutes, and commandments. So the Israelites understood what redeeming someone out of slavery meant. So we've all heard the term great redeemer, kinsman redeemer, all that type of stuff. That is a term that actually comes out of the law. The kinsman redeemer is a law. We actually have a teaching on that as well if you want to explore our channel. So anyway, relating this back to the fact that this is a marriage, when he's saying no man shall buy you or no man shall redeem you, this is also a reference to saying, look, you're married to me. Israel, you're married to me. You're my wife. So you need to stick to these law, statutes, and commandments or covenant. Those are the rules of our relationship. If you break these rules, then you break our marriage. And these different things are going to be suffered of. You're going to suffer these different things. And if you go cheating around, no other man is going to save you from this. So same thing if we're married and the woman started, messing around with another dude, the husband is warning her, okay, you can do that if you want to, but you need to understand that dude ain't gonna save you. I'm the only one that's truly here for you. So when he says no man shall buy you or redeem you, that's a strong statement that, look, I'm the one that's dedicated to you. You need to be dedicated toward me. So we just wanted to bring that up to bring us up to speed in regard to that. So unfortunately, Israel, as we know, we did break the covenant. We did go worshiping after and following after other nations and other religions and all these other different things. And we did leave our first estate. We left Yahweh, we left the law, statutes, and commandments, and we are still suffering from that tragic decision as a nation today, unfortunately. So since that's the case, we still are looking to be redeemed by our kinsmen. And right here, he says, no man shall redeem you. Nobody else is going to do it. It's only him. So our redemption is only going to come by Yahweh. Our decisions put us in this thing. He's the only one that's going to bring us out. And as a matter of fact, Yahweh has a meaning, a Hebrew meaning. What does Yahweh mean in Hebrew? Does anyone know?
God, I can answer that, King. He saves, he delivers, he's salvation.
Khan. So it's actually in his very name. He saves, he delivers, Yahweh's salvation. All of these things are relating back to what he's going to be doing. So like I said, we're going to explore a little bit of his salvation, a little bit of his plan to redeem his people today. So we're going to talk about a little bit of that. But first, we're going to get some popcorn right quick. We're going to look at a little filmage, and we're just going to relate this to some things that we're going to see. All right, there we go. Can everybody see?
No.
God.
Gone.
Hi, this is Julia.
Got a man calling a woman. The woman's not picking up.
Who that? Where your mama at? What happened, Cece? What happened? Huh?
Daddy, we don't really care what the judge says. We just want to be with you.
I'm staying here.
How did y'all get here?
We walked.
Y'all walked till 3 o'clock in the morning?
We can't stay there anymore, Dad. Sorry.
What you talking?
Daddy,
What happened?
Joe,
Joe, what? Cece, you could talk to me. You tell me what happened.
Joe keeps
He keeps what?
hitting China.
What? Where? Come here.
My
Where?
back.
On your back.
Your mama was sitting right there and she didn't even say anything.
He hit. Hold on a second. Come here. He hit you?
He hit me because I wouldn't stop crying.
Okay.
Daddy, I was so sad.
Okay.
I couldn't help.
Okay, come here. We go. Grandma told me to look after y'all. I gotta look after y'all. So y'all gonna stay with me now. Y'all gonna stay with me now, okay? Okay? Cece, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Man is hurting.
Stay with me. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
All right, cool. So we just saw somebody was messing with that brother's kids, man. How many people would be offended if somebody was messing with your kids? Am I the only one?
Shoot, everybody should be
Right.
pissed off.
Gonna turn the whole world over.
Absolutely. You are ready to declare war. You're ready to
The problem got a problem now.
That's right. That's right. The problem got a problem. I like
God.
this question about it. You know what I'm saying? So again, we like to try to relate. We like to try to get things so we can relate to them because it makes things very understandable. We saw the man call up the wife, or the woman. We'll just say the woman ignored him, didn't answer the phone. If we understand things in the Bible, we have Yahweh in his heavenly form because he was the creator of all things. He was Yahweh again is the bridegroom. He has a relationship with Israel. Israel is the woman. Israel is also the mother, because you'll hear things. You'll hear in certain scriptures it referred to a she or a her or your mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually talking about the nation of Israel. And when it says the children, it's also talking about the children of Israel, but it's again just talking about the Israelites as opposed to talking about the nation as a whole. So we see right there that if we were to put these in biblical terms, Yahweh is called Yahweh is Idris Elba, we'll just say. But anyway, we'll say that Yahweh was calling on Israel. Israel ignored him. Israel, and then we have the children coming, calling out to Yahweh and calling out and crying out. We'll just say we just saw the kids crying out. If we go back to the Egypt story, we have to understand that it's the children of Israel awakening and crying out to the Father. That's going to get his attention. The children coming together and crying out to their Father, please. Also, repenting for their sins and returning to the Father. That's going to activate the Father and the Son into action. That you know what I'm saying. So we saw a portion of that illustrated with that clip just now. We saw the fury that father has. So we also want to understand when we look at that clip, whose perspective is that? Is that the man, the woman, the man, the woman's, or the child's perspective? That clip, who would you say?
The Yahweh's perspective?
God. That's absolutely. I know that might have been a confusing question, but absolutely, that perspective is from the man, because it started off, looking at the man, or seeing what the man's doing, and then the man's kids coming to them, and then the camera zooming in on the man and you're seeing the man reflecting on what's going on with his kids, and then you see the man, comforting his kids, at the end there.
It's a book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 5. And they were scattered because there's no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. So again, just to understand, this subject matter is talking about Israel, because Israel are the scattered sheep, and Israel those are the sheep that he refers to other nations as beasts. So we see that the sheep who are scattered, they don't have a shepherd, they don't have a leader, they don't have someone that's guiding and protecting them, but they've been scattered among the beasts of the field. And the beasts of the field, like I said, those are other nations. He refers to other nations. The other nations as beasts of the field, beasts of the land, beasts, evil beasts, all these different types of things. So we'll become familiar with that lingo. Anyway, let's go 11 through 16. 11 through 16. Verse 11. For thus said the Most High, behold, I, even I.
I got to pause you right there, right? The I, even I. And I bring this up because people don't quite understand how even is used in the Bible. Even when they put even somewhere, and when it's used like this, all it does is repeat again. Typically in different terms, it repeats what it said before. So I, even I, and it's repeating it to emphasize it. So he's saying me, even me, I, even I. A lot of times it might say I, even Yahushai. It may refer to the same thing, but just use a different term. So anyway, that's something that is lost upon so many people based on the comments that we get. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. For thus said Yahweh Power, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day.
So far, what we're seeing is that he's talking about his perspective, just like we saw in the clip. We're seeing the man's perspective, the bridegroom's perspective, because he's saying I, and he's saying what he's going to do. Do we see that? Let's go ahead and progress, brother.
Verse 13. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land, and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a good fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel. I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, said the Most High. Verse 16. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment.
So off the bat, so what we can see is that this is, if we were going to relate that back to that clip that we saw, this is like what's going through the father's head. These are his thoughts, because this whole thing is what he's going to do. All of these things are starting off pretty much with I will. He's talking about the things that he's going to do in order to defend his children, or in this situation, the biblical situation, defend the children of the Most High, but Yahushai's wife. It's very, very personal. So again, remember, it said no man will redeem you. He's the only man that's going to redeem his wife. He's the kinsman redeemer. He's going after his kinsman. There's not anybody else. So that's why you see this is such a very, very personal stance.